Tuesday, I played my front runner, which is Esper Hero, against a gauntlet of Todd's choosing, and now Todd gets to play his deck of choice against a gauntlet of my choosing. Unsurprisingly, Todd has chosen Wilderness Reclamation.
Yes, but notably, not Nexus of Fate.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather draw a bunch of cards with Explosion. That's more fun to me.
Yeah. And also putting Nexus of Fate in your deck is just asinine. That card just shouldn't exist.
It's only foil and it's marked. It's mint.
I just can't. That's...
Okay, so I'm playing Temur Reclamation, and I'll go over it more in depth as we play the games and stuff. But the new cards that we added to the deck, Rowstorm Conduit, we tried it a little bit about 2 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago, I believe, right when we first got Raw's Outburst and Rowstorm Conduit previewed, and the one match that I got to play with the deck, Rao didn't really impress me. It didn't really do a whole lot. But when I started playing it again on Magic Arena and I started just getting more games and matches under my belt, Rao started to make a lot more sense. It comes in, ticks up to 6 loyalty if you want it to. Becomes really tough to kill. The minus lets you double up on Rao's Outburst till it killed 2 creatures and dig pretty deep. If you're low on resources, copying a Chemist's Insight is pretty good. And he has the added benefit of just combo killing your opponent in 2 different ways. First up, minus Explosion for double. That's a pretty big deal when usually you're explosioning for around 10 or whatever anyway. And then secondly, there's this really weird, intricate combo that I'm going to try my best to explain right now, and then I'm never going to talk about it again. Okay? You cast a 1-mana spell, shock or opt, right? Then, can we do top down? Okay, I'm just going to get them out. Okay.
No, it doesn't have to be a 1-mana spell, but it's easier that way.
Yeah,
any spell that's 4 or less that you can target with expansion will work.
Yeah. So first up, cast any instant or sorcery, right? With this on the stack, you hold priority. I guess we need to Row on the battlefield too, huh? We also get to play with regular cards today and not proxies. All right, so Row on the battlefield, cast a shock. Ping your opponent for 1 with Row's ability. Shock still on the stack. You cast expansion, targeting shock. Before expansion resolves to become shock, you play another expansion, and the expansion copies expansion and then becomes a new expansion, and you choose a new target again and again and again and again. Yeah. Now, normally this wouldn't matter. It wouldn't do anything. But because Rao says when you cast or copy, you do a damage, you get to do infinite damage to the opponent. So kind of convoluted, but all these cards are just naturally in our deck anyway. And when you draw a bunch of cards with Expansion Explosion, Rao's Outburst, Chemist's Insight, sometimes the combo just comes together. And the fact that they all kind of work well with each other anyway just means you just get this added level of being able to kill your opponent in some spots where you have no business doing so.
And the threat of this combo means that your opponents are probably going to be more scared of Rao than they otherwise would be. Yeah. And that's going to cause into play in ways that would otherwise be suboptimal. So, you know, the even if the combo does not come up that often, and I don't think it will, the fact that it's there will alter some number of games as well. So that there's just value to having access to it.
All right, now that's the deck I'm going to be playing. This is mostly just your normal Temur Reclamation with Wilderness Reclamation, Chemist's Insight, Opt, Shock, removal spells, card draw, bunch of mana.
You know the deal.
What are you playing first up?
Okay, first match, we've got Sultai, one of the most popular decks over the last 3 or 4 months. No real frills. We add some Lilianas. There's one main and one on the sideboard. That's Liliana Dreadhorde General.
Yep.
Not a card that's going to be particularly good in this matchup. I don't want to be grinding with you because eventually the Temur Reclamation deck goes way over the top and sets up some sort of combo kill, whether it's a Giant Explosion or the 3-card combo we just explained. So I need to be more aggressive in this matchup. I'm going to be looking for early Jadelight Rangers and Wild Growth Walkers to apply pressure. Game 1 is going to be really rough. Things get a lot better after sideboarding when I get all the counter spells and duresses and disenchant effects for Wilderness Reclamation. But this one of the reasons that Temur Reclamation was quite good and did well at the first Mythic Championship at Cleveland is it has a very good Sultai matchup. So we're starting you off with a nice easy one, and then hopefully it'll get harder as the day goes on. We got a little bit Esper control, a little mono red, so we're running the gamut. A good test for this Temur Reclamation deck that it was already a proven deck, and we're going to see how good the additions from War of the Spark are.
All right, Mr. Rob, we got any questions from chat before we get started?
Yeah, we've got a few right now.
All right.
First, Not MZY. So, Todd, are you going to be in Richmond? And if you are, would you give them a high five?
I'm pretty sure it's Nomsy, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. Look, I have a lot of experience with a bunch of these people with weird names because I asked them on my channel how to say their name. I don't remember if Nomsy is one of them, but that one's pretty cool. Yeah, high fives are A-okay.
All right, and we'll both be there.
Yeah, but you don't have to high five Ross.
True.
We'll both.
In fact, I would prefer if nobody touched me ever.
All right, any more?
Yeah, Histeus wants to know what's the most fun deck you've played so far. Maybe not the most competitive, but what's the most fun you've had so far?
In this, obviously. Okay, next question.
I would say
I don't play decks because they're good, man.
I would say the Boros Heroic deck.
No, I'll say that too. That deck was, well, I don't know how much fun that deck was. It made my brain do things that it hasn't done in a while, and that felt nice. It was like stretching after being cooped up for a really long time.
Yeah, so. And it did cool things. I got to play a more grindy game once with Feather when we played it, and then we tried the Temur version and got to do cool stuff with Collision Colossus. So I remember with the Boros version, I flashed back a fight with fire with my Dreadhorde Arcanist. That was sweet. Didn't kick it when I flashed it back, but still, just flashing back 3-mana spells nice.
Yeah.
So definitely the Boros Heroic deck.
All right. Well, let's go and get to the games. I will be on the play because, of course, you have the marbles and you must defend them.
Oh, so I do.
So you do. This hand is not very good.
That's what I like to hear.
But we got 2 lands and an opt and some interaction. The problem with this hand, though, is I need mana and specific spells. And if I draw stuff like Growth Spiral, it might just be a cycler, which kind of stinks. I'm actually just going to mulligan this hand. This is not a good one. On the play, it's not that bad, but it's just not good.
My hand is solid. It is not the most aggressive, but I also have a couple good pieces of interaction as opposed to something like Cast Down or Find Finality, which are really bad in this matchup. So I think this hand will suffice.
Do you have a turn 1 Lenore Elves?
Maybe.
Do you?
No.
Okay. All right.
Not unless it's right here.
All right. We own 6.
No Londons this time.
Our hand is 4 4-drops and 2 lands. I don't like this hand very much, but it has. I'm gonna keep it, but I don't like it.
Maybe steal in game 1.
Yeah, we played 3 fun games already, and I won all of them very easily. But I don't think I'm gonna win this game unless I get pretty lucky.
Okay, well, I drew a good one to start, so we're gonna get our beatdowns on with this Branch Walker.
Sure.
That Branch Walker can go into the graveyard.
Go.
Let's shoot for 3.
17.
Play another Branch Walker.
Sure.
Get a Water Grave and play. Pass.
Okay. Well, play Wilderness Reclamation, End Eternal, untap our lands. And even though I want to do some cool stuff next turn, I think I just need to go ahead and get a bit of interaction here and go ahead and outburst that. Top 2, we'll keep that. But Chemistry in the graveyard, that's a pretty good place for it to be.
Yep. And we're let's attack for 2.
I'm at 15.
You can go.
Cards in hand?
I got 5.
All right, I'm going to play a Row.
That's fine.
I'm going to minus.
That's pretty good.
Move to end step.
On your second main phase, I'll blow this up.
All right. I will.
Hopefully that ruins Todd's plans for what he was doing with this minus, but probably has something like a Growth Spiral, Opt, or Shock.
I do have a Growth Spiral, but I don't have the others. It does mess me up, though. I will play a Growth Spiral and copy it twice. I was going to double Row's Outburst, but...
copying it once, so you have 2 copies. So
yeah, so Row's going to hit you for 2. I'm going to...
So I'm at 18.
Yeah.
And you're at 17, right?
I'm at 15. You hit me for 3 and for 2. All right, so first Growth Spiral, draw, play my land. Second Growth Spiral, draw, no land. Your go.
Okay. Still a pretty good turn for Todd. He's got a bunch of lands out now. Probably has some way to recoup a bunch of cards, but I am going to be able to deal with this Ral, which is cool.
Yeah.
So
I
let's
thought about that potentially happening, but Assassin Trophy is like not very highly played.
see if this Liliana can do something, which is not bad in this spot. It's going to create a pretty significant clock. Going to make Todd's interaction worse, and if it ever ultimates, that's GG's.
Chemister. Draw 2. Say go, I guess.
Okay. So you're at 15. This is going to be 7. Attack for 5.
Okay.
You're at 10. I will shock myself to 16 and then play a Crisis on 4, go back up to 18. Draw 2.
Yep.
And then make a zombie. And we have lethal damage on the battlefield. Pass the turn.
All right. I'm going to outburst the Lily.
Setting up, and I can't be setting up an expansion explosion on that because then you would die to my board. What do we got?
All right, I'm gonna outburst on the Hydroid Crisis.
And then shock it.
Cannonade.
Okay, I'll draw 5.
Yep.
That's the good dish news. And
Your turn.
but the more time that we give Todd to set back up, the more time he has to just run us over with something super powerful. So make another zombie.
Yep.
Okay. Play a branch walker.
Yep.
Graveyard that Crisis. Have plenty of cards. We need more efficient ways to get stuff onto the battlefield. I'm at 18 and you're at 10. This is currently 5 damage.
Have you at 16? I don't know why though.
I gained 2. I shocked twice, but I gained 2 off the Crisis.
Sure.
So I can't get to 10 damage here, which is unfortunate. So I guess I will just play some Llanowar Elves, play this Memorial tapped, and find back a couple branch walkers.
Okay.
You can go.
Draw for turn. All right, so 3, 4, 5, 6,
It's only 7.
All right, I'll just explosion this for 6.
Yep. Yeah, giving Todd this one turn was rough. If I'd been adding...
All right, I'm going to do it on your upkeep.
Yeah.
Just so I don't have to discard. I'm so used to doing it on my own turn because of Reclamation. And of course, in game 1, they're not going to have counterspells, so you can do that pretty easily.
Shock to 16. 10, playing 8/8 Crisis, go back up to 20, draw 4. I'm just trying to find some piece of interaction like a Vivian to handle a Wilderness Reclamation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Attack you to 5. I'm going to have to discard myself 4, 7, 10. So let's discard Llanowar Elves, Watery Grave, and Watery Grave.
Okay.
You can go.
Draw for turn. I will play a Blast Zone. This is one of the newer additions to the deck that I really like.
Reclamation here would be really bad.
All right, and then I'm gonna.
Now Todd gets to leave me with 4 damage here. There wasn't a ton I could have done around that. Maybe I could have gotten this Llanowar Elves into play to give me a 5th point that's not CMC 2.
All right, put a counter on this.
Yep.
Float 4, untap. Float 3. Draw. I'll just pop this with the 3 floating. And then I can make decisions based on other things now, not have to be forced anything. 1, 2,
Passing the turn after that.
6, 7. Yeah.
Okay, well, I did draw the Vivian Reed, so that's sweet.
Tilt.
Let's blow up that Reclamation.
Yep.
I will attack you for 4.
I will shock the Justin Parnell zombie token.
That's mean. You go to 3. And then I will play... I guess I should shock and get 2 Branch Walkers. So let's play the first one. Get a Forest. Play the second one. And that can go in the graveyard.
Okay. I'm going to Chemister. And I'm going to flashback Chemister.
Yep. Came close in this game, but at this point, I think Todd has too much of the engine rolling.
I'm at 3, dude. I don't know if you know that.
I know.
I'm at 3.
You also have like 8 cards in your hand.
I'm pretty sure I can kill you now anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're 20, right?
Yes.
All right, so cast Rowl. Cast Reclamation. All right, I'm just gonna go for it or whatever. Minus on the Rowl.
Yeah, this is exactly an explosion for 10 copied.
3
and then 11 is 14.
11 and 14. Yeah. And 21 yeah. 22 yeah.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that good? We did it. We did it. Row's the best. All right. Any questions about how that worked? Or how Todd actually won that game? Holy crap.
Not about how that worked, but we got some questions about the deck. So.
Okay, let's go. Hit me.
Hobart Games wants to know, why did you go back to Blink of an Eye over Jaya's Greeting?
Mostly I just wanted something a little more versatile. Like, we basically just can't really beat Nixlon's Binding in game 1. And Jaya's Greeting was fine. It was more I went back to Cannonade over Jaya's Greeting than anything. And as you saw there, Cannonade was like the only card that could save me in that spot. So, yeah. I mean, Jaya's Greeting is good, I think. And in the right format for it, where basically all the decks play creatures, I think it's quite good. But right now, probably not.
The effect is also a little redundant when you have Ral's Outburst in your deck. Like, how many 3 damage spells can you really play? Because when you put too much of the similar removal, then you create holes. Whereas like Candidate can deal with large swaths of things, Shock deals with the thing super early, and then Outburst, deals with slightly bigger creatures, but also provides some advantage.
All right.
Kobe the Cheese wants to know, what's your thoughts on Shock versus Shivan Fire?
I like Shock being able to hit Planeswalkers with a bunch of them coming in, specifically Teferi Time Raveler. I think you just need ways to be able to continually ping them, like we saw in that game. I had a Shock that I could have used on Vivian if I wanted to, but my life total was too low. Like, I couldn't really afford to.
Yeah. There's also Narset. That'll be a tough one for you.
Narset's pretty annoying. Basically, in tandem with Ral, Storm Conduit, anything that deals damage to a Planeswalker kind of compounds upon it, and I just like Shock a little bit better.
Ugin. Nice one to kill with your Shock after they blow up your Reclamation.
Yeah, there's actually just like a lot of Planeswalkers that minus and kill Reclamation, but that leaves them vulnerable to Shock. So I'm just gonna leave that one there, I guess.
Also, have you given any thought to Tameo in the deck?
I have, but I think without Search for Ascanta or Nexus of Fate and me trimming on Chemister's Insight, it's not good enough. And I think Ral's just a bit better in what it does, and you can't afford to play too many of those types of cards. I mean, we saw that game. I had 4 4-mana spells in my hand in my opener. I'm just like, it's not great, but it worked out. It's fine. All right, let's go for game 2.
I will be on the play, and I will snap keep.
Well, the first 4 cards were lands, and sure, whatever.
Llanowar Elves, I'm at 18.
Tilt. How come when I have Shock in my opener, you don't have Elf, and when I do have Shock, you don't have Elf? Or whatever, vice versa. That's what I want to know.
You can go. Don't worry, I had a backup Elf just in case.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play a Growth Spiral in case I draw a Shock, and I didn't. Your turn.
So, Todd, how come you did cut the Search for Ascantas? Because those have normally been seen as pretty good with Reclamation.
They are integral to the version of the deck that holy moly. They're integral to the deck that plays Nexus of Fate because they allow you to get a bunch of untaps. I cover almost all this stuff in my article today, by the way, just so y'all know if you want to know more about the deck. Basically, the more activations of Ascanta you can have, the better it is in your deck. And in this particular one, we don't actually have that much time to be using Search for Ascanta because we're actually just flooded with resources. And we actually just need outlets to use those resources. We just need time and we need mana. And Search for Ascanta can help, dig early on. And if we run out of resources, it's good. But this version doesn't run out nearly as much as the Simic version.
So played a Jadelight Ranger there, hit the Carnage Tyrant, which I banned trying to find a land, found that land, was able to play Branch Walker, hit another land. Seriously?
Fiery Cannonade. Rawr. Are you mad?
Attack you to 12.
Yeah.
I'll go to 28 and play a 2/2 Crisis.
Nice.
Draw a card. You can go. Still have a good pressure here.
Yeah. I don't know what you're mad about.
Well, I'm mad because you 4-for-1 to me.
Sure, but I can't, kill your stuff.
I guess the Branch Walker and Jadelight Ranger both got extra cards. But I'm still mad.
That's fine. You can be mad all you want.
But
you know how hard it is for me to kill a 6-toughness creature?
Oh, I'm aware. That's why Wild Growth Walker is very good in this matchup. And just very good
I'm
in
at
general.
12.
You are at 12, and I have an exact 2-turn clock.
Yeah, I can play Ral and tick up, though, and if you kill it, it just time walks you, almost. Not really. Just basically gains me 6 life and scries 1. That's not that bad. But there's a chance that it gets better. Alright, I'm going to kill this. Alright, we will keep this one.
Okay, attack you to 8.
Yep.
Play a Vivian. What's it?
Did you whiff?
Basically.
Nice.
Basically.
Nice. Alright, my go.
Yep.
I think I'm going to lose this game anyway. Let's play Ral. Tick up. Bottom. And play Rootbound Crag. Sure go.
That was also not good. Let's see if this other Vivian activation can do something. Okay, that one is good. We will take a Branch Walker. We will cast the Branch Walker.
Okay.
Get an Overgrown Tomb, so that stays there. Gain 3, go to 31.
Okay.
Attack you for 5.
All right, I'm at 3.
Go to 29 and contempt of this. Go back up to 31.
Tilt.
You can go.
Man, I really wish I had a copy spell there so I could exile one of your things and gain 2 life.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Draw for turn.
Maybe I'm supposed to upkeep that contempt.
Probably.
This is sort of the recipe from the Sultai side as to how to beat this deck. You just slam Explorer creatures early, and then have a couple good pieces of interaction.
Yeah, I mean the thing that matters the most is the Wild Growth Walker. I think.
Oh yeah.
It just is the only creature in his deck that can get out of range of my generic removal. But that's why one of the reasons why Blast Zone is such a good addition to the deck. And we actually drew Blast Zone, but it was just one turn too late. Oh well.
Yeah. This is definitely a good matchup for Blast on a lot of twos to hit between Wild Growth, Merfolk Branchwalker, and Krasis.
Well, yeah. All right, well, we are going to take a short break here just to get our sideboards set up and ready to go. If you have any questions, make sure to get them in at SCG Tour in the chat. Mr. Rob's going to pick his favorites. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
And we're back here for sideboarding between Sultai Midrange and Temur Reclamation. On my side, we got a lot to bring in, a bunch of duresses, a bunch of counterspells. These Bronze Dons are great in that you can deploy them early as a threat. The body is hard for Todd's removal to answer. Don't survive Shock, Row's Outburst, and Fiery Cannonade, and gives you a way to destroy Wilderness Reclamation at instant speed, so Todd can't just reliably slam it and then get value out of the mana on his end step. So Brontodon, a great addition here. And then I'm bringing in the last Contempt, largely because of Ral and then the expectation of some creatures out of the sideboard. Usually Niv Mizzet or Murmuring Mystic like Todd has. So you need some removal here, and Contempt is the most flexible one because it also answers Planeswalkers. We're cutting our weaker removal, these Cast Downs and Hostage Takers. The Liliana is particularly slow, and even though it was somewhat effective in that second game, you saw I was able to make 3 zombies off of it, 4 zombies, and draw 5 or 6 cards over the course of the game, and it just wasn't enough because that's not what this game is about from my side. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to win the long grindy game. I've got to just hammer Todd early with my disruption, make sure I have a clock, and close the game out quickly. For that same reason, Fine Finality gets cut, and then I'm trimming 1 copy of Hydroid Krasis because it's another expensive card. I think Carnage Tyrant is significantly better in this matchup. Yeah. Just creates more power for the mana. Don't need the extra cards. And then I'm trimming the 1 Incubation Druid because it just matches up so poorly against Todd's removal. And unlike Llanowar Elves, doesn't really curve as nicely with the deck, leading to those turn 2 Jade Light Rangers. So Incubation Druid, just one of the weaker cards in the deck overall. So an easy one to trim.
Yeah. From my side, I actually just don't really know how to sideboard with this version against Sultai yet. I was just sitting there thinking for a long time. I am aware that Chemist's Insight works really well with Murmuring Mystic, but for curve considerations, I think I have to cut a 4-drop when I'm bringing in Murmuring Mystic, and I think Rouse Outburst is better in this matchup because it's more proactive in its interaction. So we are going to be sideboarding like this, and I'm curious if Chemist's Insight even needs to be in the deck anymore. I've already trimmed 1, and basically every game I just have too many, which is weird. There's just not a feeling I've ever had before with Chemist's Insight. So Rouse Outburst kind of changes the texture of the deck. So I don't know. And I do think Ral itself is the Storm Conduit is good in the matchup, so I don't want to cut that. And there is a chance that I should be having a transformational sideboard where I cut all of my Wilderness Reclamations and maybe some number of Expansion Explosion. But and then just go Niv Murmuring Mystic as my alternate win cons out of the sideboard because the removal is pretty light after board. Yeah, but Niv is kind of bad against Vivian though.
That is true.
Not a huge fan of that interaction. Any questions for us, Rob?
Yes. The King 8426 wants to know why you're playing Fiery Cannonades in your main deck when it's possibly dead in half your matchups or whatever number.
Almost all the removal you're going to play in that spot is going to be dead in the majority of matchups. You could play Lightning Strike, but Fiery Cannonade is you might just want to play 1, right? There's a reason I'm not playing 3 or 4 of them, but the same can be said about Cry of the Carnarium and Esper Control or even Kaya's Wrath. It's the same thing. You just have to make sacrifices in some slots to dedicate them to creature-based decks because they're one of your weaker matchups and you just need to have that really potent form of interaction. You saw in game 1, there's just no possible way I can win the game without a Fiery Cannonade. I'm just going to die.
Yeah, and even game 2 would have been really tough. Really tough with would have been over very quickly without that Cannonade. So You say majority of matchups. I don't think it's dead that often. It's really only against other Nexus decks and Esper control. It's going to be solid against Sultai.
It's really bad against pirates.
Yeah. It's still good against mono blue, even though they do have a pirate.
Yeah.
And obviously excellent against Azorius aggro. So I don't think it's dead that often. And like you said, the cards you're going to play over it are going to be either dead or close to dead in those matchups too. Yeah. Like Jai's Greeting isn't going to do anything. Lightning Strike can maybe kill a Planeswalker, but that's not a big deal. You already have some shocks for that. So I'd rather dedicate that slot to the thing that's going to be best when it's good, the highest upside.
Yeah, I'll take a couple more before we get.
All right, what about Saheeli in your sideboard over like the Murmuring Mystic?
I like Murmuring Mystic a little bit better than Saheeli because in this transformational type sideboard, your opponent is really low on removal and really high on creatures, and Saheeli getting attacked is like a pretty big deal. Now there is a chance that I should just be playing like 4 Saheeli, 3 Murmuring Mystic, and like that's my sideboard plan, and that sounds pretty great. Now that you say it. So yeah, maybe
you could definitely hammer the token theme, but it's also easy to underrate. Like having flying tokens as opposed to non-flying when you're trying to attack down Vivians and things like that, and the value of that 1/5 body. The 1/5 is going to check a Jade Light Ranger until I kill it, as opposed to requiring a chump block for one of your servos every turn. So I haven't been that impressed by Saheeli, especially in decks that can't utilize its -2 well, which this deck can't.
Right.
So I'm still a fan of the Mystic.
All right. My opening hand is pretty good. We're going to keep.
My opening hand is not good enough on 1 land. I would need to rip 2 lands in 3 draw steps.
All right, let's take 1 or 2 more while Ross is mulliganing.
All right, so Nichols 322 wants to know, what's your thoughts on Blast Zone? It must be pretty good if you're trying to kind of stretch a 3-color mana base to play 2 copies, right?
Yeah, I actually am thinking of just playing a 3rd one and adding another land to my deck. Like, I think you need to treat Blast Zone as a spell that just gets to be a land. Like when you're playing Growth Spiral, like just making sure you always have a land for the Growth Spiral is a pretty huge deal. And the fact that it functions basically like an engineered explosives that just comes at the cost of a land drop is just so cool to me and so powerful in a deck that might not be able to answer like a giant Wild Growth Walker. If we had drawn Blast Zone early enough in that game, we would have been fine.
Yeah, you could definitely play another Blast Zone, maybe over one of the Cannonades.
Maybe we just don't need Cannonade. We just play 3 or 4 Blast Zones and just like 28 lands or whatever. I'm already at 27.
Makes you a little weaker to tokens.
Sure.
But I don't know how many people are playing Selesnya right now, things like that. But History of Benalia, sure. Fire Cannonade, very good there. Blast Zone, not so good. I particularly like Blast Zone with Wilderness Reclamation, where you can play it, activate it to set it to the number you want, and then untap and blow stuff up immediately. So it works really well in the Reclamation decks that want a lot of lands, but also need enough gas to function. And this is a dual threat land and spell almost. A flexible removal spell, which they needed because they're base Simic. It just does everything in them.
Yeah.
And has some cool synergy with Reclamation itself. This is another 1-lander, but it's a pretty good one if we hit, so I think it's a worthwhile keep, and we'll scry that non-land to the bottom.
All right, Stevens, go.
Breeding Pool, go.
Go.
Forest, go.
It's not a great start from you.
Nope.
Go.
Durasio. I will take your Wilderness Reclamation.
It's gone.
Pass the turn.
Oh, weird. Go.
Disdainful Stroke that.
Tilt. Go.
Got him good.
Well, it's not like I have anything else to do.
Hold on. Now that you're tapped out and you can't Cannonade with the trigger on the stack, I should play Jade Light Ranger first and see if it becomes a 4/3.
Yeah.
Well, we're taking the Cannonade.
Okay.
Actually, maybe we aren't. Maybe we have to take this expansion explosion and hope to draw some more
I think
threats.
you don't care about the cannonade killing Jade Light Ranger, but I could be wrong.
I agree.
All right, we'll play Blast Zone. Your turn. Maybe because of all the duresses and disdainful strokes, we just can't actually cut the Chemist's Insight, because here we're actually quite low on resources, whereas before we're not.
Attack for 2.
Yeah, 18.
You can go.
But I think I'll just put 1 counter on it for now, and then if he plays another 3-drop, then I'll put
Yeah, makes
another
sense.
counter on it. Go. Just keep drawing not blue lands.
Attack for 2.
16.
In general, how
You can go.
proactive do you think you have to be with your blast zones and sending out a certain number?
It depends on the situation. I think for the most part, you just need to understand what you can't handle and then set it to that number.
You go to
And
14.
Here we can't really handle like a big wild growth walker, but we have a blink of an eye, so I kind of want to just like set this to 5. The problem is like if he plays Vivian Reed, we want to be able to kill it, so we just need to make sure it's on 2, and then now we can turn it up to 5 if we need to. You got 4 cards.
Yep.
All right. It's probably going to eat a removal spell, but I don't see much else. I mean, we don't have Chemisters in our deck, but we could copy a Rouse Outburst maybe if we draw it. So maybe we just do that. I think we just play it and get the Scry. I mean, it might get countered, but okay, go.
Contempt it. I'm at 22.
Yep, 22 to 14.
Yep.
Yep.
Attack.
12.
2 in hand, and I know one of them is Blink of an Eye.
You know both.
Blink of an Eye can't. Okay. But you just scry to the top.
Yep.
Yeah, not much I can do. Pass. So Blast Zone has been really good.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Sometimes you just don't actually see how good it is. I'm gonna say go, and then on your upkeep,
Gonna cast an expand.
Outburst on your Jade Light.
Okay.
We'll take this one.
You can go.
Draw. Mystic. Your go.
Yeah, it's not good. Wow. You can go.
I'm gonna set this to 3.
Yep.
Untap.
Yeah.
I'll play Wilderness Reclamation.
Sure.
I'll say go.
I know the 2 cards in your hand.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any point.
Actually, I'm gonna blow this up, and then I'm gonna play this.
Yeah, it doesn't. That
And
seems
then I'm
to
gonna
make more
clear an
sense.
attack.
Yeah, I'm at 21. Then you get to untap your lands.
Yeah.
And then protect your things with Blink of an Eye.
Yeah, I didn't really want to leave Blink of an Eye. Like,
Okay.
I want to be able to hold it up to protect, in case you had a.
Well, the 12th land I've drawn this game is actually somewhat relevant. So.
Didn't you start with like 1?
Oh yeah, this is a 1-lander. I've drawn Thrashing Brontodon and 12 lands.
Okay, I'm sorry.
20.
Go.
Hydroid Crisis. Ooh, perfect. We're doing it now.
Jade Light.
Do I just have to get Brontodon so I can deal with his Reclamation? I can't even do that because you have Blink of an Eye. So I guess I'll just Jade Light and try to find some discard and counter spells and other stuff. Nope. Yeah.
Sure.
Go.
Okay. Outburst targeting Jade Light.
Jesus.
Make a bird.
Yeah, this negate's not going to be good enough.
I'm going to cast a Growth Spiral, make a bird. Play the land. And untap. Attack for 3.
17.
Play a Growth Spiral, make a bird. Play the land. Well, I know you're drawing the gate. And I kind of have this window where if I draw an explosion, I can do something really good with it. So we're just going to bounce this draw. And then just untap and say go.
Replay this Llanowar Elves.
Yeah.
You can go.
Attack.
I'm at 12.
Go.
12 all. Hydroid Crisis. Or Merfolk Branchwalker.
Sure.
Play the land. Attack for 1.
Yeah, take it.
You're at 11. You can go.
Attack.
I'm at 7.
Go.
Hydroid Crisis. Or Merfolk Branchwalker. Think I need to draw a Crisis basically next turn. So let's bin that. And attack for 1.
10.
You can go.
Shock you.
I'm at 5. And I'm dead to the birds.
Once you negate the shock.
Okay. So I guess
All right, so you're still at 7.
still at 7.
I mean, there's a crisis on top. You know that, right? And I'm going to lose this game.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear. Yeah.
I'm at 2.
Go.
Hydroid Crisis.
It's not. Wow. Weird. That's really weird. I don't know how that happened. That was a weird game. I don't know. I learned some things. I learned some things about this matchup. We want another blast zone. We want to keep our chemisters in because of all the discard and all the counter spells. And we want a third Murmuring Mystic because it's just the bee's knees. Fiery Cannonade, maybe not necessary once we bring in third Murmuring Mystic and also have Blast Zone. So something to keep in the back of your mind.
I'm wondering if the high density of disruption I have after sideboarding means I want all 3 Crises in.
Probably.
But I also don't know what to cut.
Probably just mopey creature.
It's just the Explorer creatures, Brontodon, Llanowar Elves, and Carnage Tyrant.
Sure. Maybe a Vraska's Contempt. Like, Growl is good, but like...
You also have Murmuring
I have
Mystic.
Murmuring Mystic too.
So
yeah.
I have 3 of those and 1 trophy as removal. That seems like a reasonable number. Maybe I just cut a land.
Maybe. All right. Well, we can play and maybe get a tie if you win, because we don't have time to play 2 games, more than likely. But I want to like change my deck now, so I'm just like learning some stuff. Hey Rob, am I allowed to change my deck any? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. We're going to take a short break here. I'm going to make some changes to my deck. When we get back, we're going to play probably a 4th game. So don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right. We're going to play a 4th game here. I have trimmed a Rootbound Crag for another Blast Zone. And we're getting dangerously close to being too low on certain colored resources. So I'm a little wary. We've also are trying a sideboard plan in this particular matchup where we're cutting Wilderness Reclamation. And we're just have more... I guess, well-rounded cards that even if Ross deals with them, I might still get some value out of them. Whereas Reclamation, like if he kills it, I just get nothing. Or if he picks apart the rest of my stuff, the Reclamation just is not very useful either. So we got some Niv Mizzets, Murmuring Mystics, and we got a 3rd Mystic in there. We trimmed a Sorceress Spyglass. So.
You do make your Blast Zones worse by cutting Wilderness Reclamation, but they've still been pretty... By cutting Wilderness Reclamation, you make
it what worse?
Blast Zone.
Oh, sure. But I think they're just fine in the matchup.
Yeah, they've been pretty effective regardless, so don't think it'll be that big of a
3rd
deal.
Blast Zone doesn't work well with Niv. Hey, I need to change my deck again. Can we take another? Drew 2 Blast Zones and Niv in my opener. That's not great. Hand wasn't keepable anyway. Any questions for us?
That's not good deck building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got another one from Estaeus here. Do you think part of what gave Grixis trouble before is the no way to remove enchantments, and do you think it'll be a big player in New Standard anyway because some of its new cards are so individually powerful?
I don't know. I think Nicol Bolas the Ravager is a card that everyone's been waiting to see play, and I just think it's not that good.
I think it is very good. I think the surrounding cast of characters are not good. Like, I think you are incentivized to tap out constantly in your Grixis deck, which makes a lot of the control elements a lot worse. Like, you just can't play counterspells, for example. So then you're stuck playing a Grixis color deck that can't really deal with certain stuff. Like, you just can't beat a Wilderness Reclamation. You just have to attack them with Thought Erasure and stuff like that.
So that's one of the that would be a reason why Nicol Bolas isn't that good, because it forces you into that kind of.
Right. If it was just a different color combination and had the same text or whatever, it would be insane.
But it is in that color combination.
Right. I'm saying the card is very good, but it's in the wrong colors.
Sure. But that's irrelevant because the card is in the colors it's in. So it's just not that good.
Thanks, Ross, for your expert analysis of using my words against me.
There's just no point in thinking about it that way.
Sure. That's just a thought exercise.
It's an idealist way of thinking.
Thought exercises are great.
Okay, we need this branch walker to show us a land. I'm at 18.
Okay.
Been that.
You know you're never going to draw a land, right?
Yeah, that's my life.
There you go. Hey, you did it.
Attack for 3.
17.
Jadelight Ranger.
Sure.
You're up.
I think I just need to buy myself some time. This is kind of poopy, but I'm going to blink the Jade Light. And go. It's also possible I just can't afford to cut Reclamation because my deck is just a lot weaker after I do that. But,
Actually, I should not play that land because my plan here is to Jadelight.
Ho ho ho.
In that. That one can stay. Attack for 3. 14.
Yep.
You can go. So now we have 7 power here. 2 turn clock.
Kill this while you're tapped out.
Till.
Top 2. Do I need the lands? How many lands I got? I got 2 and they both come in on tap. Okay. Go.
Okay, duress you.
Explosion, Rouse Outburst, Niv, 2 lands. So a lot of cards that are powerful by themselves. No real synergy going on right now, which is unfortunate. Expansion also gets significantly worse without Reclamation, but we can do some cool stuff with it, copying things and whatnot.
I will take the Outburst. And then play Jadelight.
Yep.
Bin that.
So that just means he doesn't have a land. He probably has like Carnage Tyrant or something in hand. Although I'm pretty sure keeping a Jade Light on top is better than not, unless he just has another Jade Light.
You're at 11. You can go.
Okay.
If this draw step is a brick, then this game is over. But there's a lot of things it could be that would be very good.
7. All right, I'm gonna Growth Spiral and copy it. So first one, second one, go.
Okay. And that's a pretty good one. I will attack you to 4.
Yep.
Play a Brontodon. And... You have 4 total in hand?
Yes.
So an explosion isn't going to do enough. You can only cast for 3. You deal with the Jadelight Ranger and you die. You could expansion like a Rouse Outburst or something.
Why are you doing this?
What?
Are you debating on something?
Yes.
Does it hold up Negate or cast another Branch Walker?
You just hold up Disdainful Stroke or cast Wild Growth Walker. And the fact that it's Disdainful Stroke means that you could have like
Just hold up Disdainful Stroke. I'm
No,
dead.
if you have Fiery Cannonade, you just expansion Fiery Cannonade, and I guess
Then
I
you
can't
lose
beat
your
that.
Wild Growth
Guess
Walker
I can't beat that anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. If you have Shock, like if you had Shiv and Fire, I know you don't have Shiv and Fire in your deck, but that's something I might be thinking about here.
You win. Hold up the Sample Stroke and you win.
Well, if I play Wild Growth Walker, or if I don't play Wild Growth Walker, and you have 7th land and an Opt or a Shock, then I lose. Whereas I beat Shock, like you can Shock and draw a card and deal with that, and then
oh, I see.
yeah, because you're at exactly 4. If you were at 3, then it's 100% right to leave up the stroke because I have 3 lethal creatures.
Okay.
But if you can play Niv Mizzet plus deal with one of my creatures with a Shock or an Opt, Opt lets you deal with the Branch Walker, then I could lose a game that I otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So it actually is a sort of somewhat interesting decision there.
Oh, that's fair. I still think Disable Stroke covers you from more bases. But I have the Niv.
Yeah.
And if I had Shock, I would have cast it that turn. And I didn't play a land for the turn. I double Growth Sprout and didn't have a land. So you have to know that the other 2 cards in my hand are not land, not Shock, and probably something else. I don't know.
Yeah. So that makes that line less likely, which makes holding up stroke better.
Mhm.
Though I'm not sure what stroke really protects me from there.
Murmuring
From
Mystic.
Murmur Mystic and Row's Outburst, actually.
Yeah.
Because Outburst plus expansion would be very good.
Mhm.
Although, if you had Outburst plus expansion, I beat that by playing the Wild Growth. Because you kill Branch Walker and Jadelight and take 4.
Sure.
So I think playing the Wild Growth Walker is actually better.
All right. Well, I won the match because I won the first best out of 3.
I don't think that's how it works.
Come on, man. What are you doing to me? What time is it? It's 2:00. We can't play another game.
Yeah, we got to move on to Esper because those games are going to take a while too.
Okay. Any questions before we move on to the next match, Mr. Rob?
Yeah, Ross, Ryan Possible wants to know, why were you playing Duress over Thought Erasure in Sultai?
Blue is not easy to have.
It's just about mana efficiency, really. When you're bringing a card in out of the sideboard, and you're in a matchup where you're trying to apply a lot of pressure by playing creatures early and then hold up counter spells, the difference between 1 mana and 2 mana is huge. And then it's your color that you have the least amount of sources that you're adding onto it as well. So I don't think the Surveil makes it worth it. Sultai decks have been sideboarding Duress over Thought Erasure for the last 4 months. So that's just pretty stock because being 1 mana is super, super important. You saw it there. I was able to Duress on turn 3 and while holding up stroke, and Duress on turn 4 while playing Jadelight Ranger, and Thought Erasure would not have been able to do that. Deck already has enough ways to dig through its deck with Explorer too, so definitely think Duress is better.
Okay. One more?
That's all I got for right now, actually.
Okay, cool. Well, we are going to take a short break while we prepare our second match. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back for more Versus Live.